YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Finally, we have an update for you. You've been waiting so long, so patiently. You had to endure 2 airplane videos. Just kidding. So, as you can see, the house is coming along. There are some interesting things that have happened, and there's a lot of things that have been done and redone a couple times, but
or more.
It's looking really good. And we're happy and excited about it, so come along for a little trip. We're going to walk this time. Mid-American, our electric provider, came and left a nice note on our breaker that said there wasn't conduit under our driveway, so they wouldn't run service to our house. So we kind of knew that, but the weird thing is about Mid-American and other suppliers, I'm sure you guys have dealt with this with protected monopolies, but they just show up, usually 3 months late. This time they were about a month early. So yeah. I don't know, I guess a month early is better. But let's continue. So we'll be using some drop cords for a while. You can see here we did a little paint on the bottom corner. That's going to be, it's called cyberspace gray, and then we have white trim. It's just whatever white is. It's
origami white.
Origami white.
Yes.
And
those are both Sherwin-Williams colors, in case anybody wants to know.
In case anybody wants to know, I guess. Basically, the brick is going to go here. The cap's been poured. I don't think that was there the last time we showed you guys.
I don't remember.
One of the interesting things that happened today was the siding guys came and finished a bunch of stuff, and it looks really nice. They did a pretty good job. The siding crew was good. And that's even after the weird quirky things that I made them do. But if you look up here, there was corbels. Well, there was at least one, and we saw another one on the ground, but evidently they made the executive decision to not install them, and not only that, but take that one down.
It was theirs. It's been there for like 2 weeks.
Why they took it down, but they took it down, so I'm guessing there'll be a really good one coming. So we'll hold our breath on that one. Anyway, so we've got water going in after Christmas, because it is Christmas Eve in 2 days, and so everybody is off work. Come on up here, hon.
Hey, the roof is done. I don't think that was the shingles are up.
Guys. It looked done before because of the black, and as you can see, there's some mud on there. Siding guys have been working. We've got the shake siding here, shake over the bigger garage. Do you guys like my pointing tool? And then basically there is one more just regular siding there. Sorry guys, had a phone call come in. It was my daddy-o. So over there we have more of the shake, and then we have regular siding. So we did that because it would look cool, and the architect drew it on there, and so we said that looks awesome and we love it. And the other thing is, the architect recommended this dormer, but he didn't want it to be an active dormer, and we've mentioned that before, but that was one of the most expensive mistakes we did, was him adding that decorative dormer.
Yep.
But we really love it, and we're glad that it's on there. So let's come along a little closer. The water line, like I was saying, is going in next week. We got pretty much everybody's on vacation. The siding crew was way backed up, so they came and finished up some stuff. But as you can see, this is the gray, and it's kind of got a little bit of a bluish hue to it. And then this is the water line, so that's going to run over to our water main over here.
Which is across the
It's across the way. If you just look past the
behind the dumpster.
The dumpster looks like it might be slightly overfilled, but I mean, as you can see, the dumpster is kind of everywhere right now.
Spewing into the yard.
They fixed these because there was a couple things that needed to change. Not a big deal, but they did a really nice job splicing this in. And incidentally, the priming on this siding made us think maybe we're painting it the wrong color, because the blue or gray or whatever you want to call that, we sure like it, but the green looks really good too. And so we didn't know it was going to be colored at all. So AC's in. We haven't really done a thorough walkthrough, so we'll just show you. AC's in. These are just outlets here, and then that's, of course, the power for the air conditioner. They're getting us another top because that was used as a workbench, so it got scraped up. LP entrance here. It had been over there. We talked them into moving it over here, which is a good call. Our LP tank is currently sitting here. That'll be our construction point. It's actually going to go way down there, and we're going to run about 120 feet
by the fence,
or so.
clear down there.
And the idea behind that is just because it's big and ugly. But maybe when this grading is done, we'll change our mind. We don't know. Master bedroom windows here. Really nice job on the board and batten. We have a couple of vents up here. The vents were, you know, we weren't thrilled about having to have those vents there, but it's like you got to vent somewhere.
Those are for the laundry room, which is on the front of the house. So.
Yeah, so it's a laundry exhaust for the bathroom-ish room. It's not actually a bathroom. There's no toilet. There is a sink.
We have an exhaust. Yeah,
we have an exhaust, and then we have the actual laundry machine.
The dryer. Vent.
So they finished the back. The
I'll walk way out.
As you can see, we've got the master window.
Yay.
Is in. We came last night and we were thinking about filming a video, but it was so dark. Even with the full moon, it was beautiful. And so we were able to see it, but we didn't get a video in just because it was too dark. We wanted you guys to be able to really enjoy it. So there's the final. Ooh, did I hear gunfire?
Sounds like it. I'm going to walk down here
They're
so
not
they can.
shooting at us, are they?
Hopefully not.
So as you can see, we've got 6 windows in our master bedroom. And so
and 2 in the bathroom.
Yes, and then 2 in the bathroom. So we have as many windows in there as we do in our whole upstairs of our current house. So maybe we'll do a video where we fly from the master bedroom. So walking around more, they filled in the unnecessary holes that were in the wrong spot. They just located them wrong, so they filled them in. The siding guys did a really nice job up here when they have what is it? Basically the big sheets of
it's like
hardy plank.
Soffit
they
stuff.
take and they use trim pieces to fill in the cracks, and they did a really nice job and centered it up beautifully so that when the ceiling fan and the can lights are in there, it's going to look symmetrical, which is cool. I'm sure you guys can't imagine me being picky about these things.
Oh,
you know
never.
About my channel. They tried smoothing this out, but the ground was frozen underneath.
Not working very good.
It makes it a little bit hard to walk, but it'll be temporal anyway. And the septic, the sand filter is going to go here.
Down here.
You have to do a sand filter. And then the tank is going to go up the top of the hill. And we're reserving this area if we ever need to expand the building. So that's why we don't have any utilities on that side, which might, you know, you might be thinking, why didn't you put them in the corner that nobody can see? Well, because we want to reserve that to expand the house if we need to. So door down here for the slider. We're going to have a patio. This thing's going to extend another 6 feet.
Yep,
past.
the deck will.
So it'll be uncovered, perfect for flying and other whatever activities we want. And then the patio underneath, we've decided we're probably going to shoot it out this way. And then I can use that for little UMX planes. And then you can sit in the sun or you can sit under the deck if it's raining. So we'll just go ahead and keep going around. Do you want to show them from here or do you want to go in the front?
I don't. Either way.
Let's go upstairs since that handle broke.
Yeah.
So we have a handle coming, but it's kind of nice when stuff broke like that because then they don't use it as much. They did board and batten up here for us, which we just really, really like the way that looks on that gable. And this is the office corner. So you have a nice, beautiful view of the knolls. And I use that terminology because one of my neighbors was calling these hills knolls. I guess that's what they are. And it does make sense that they're knolls. It's kind of like a rolling hill.
Yep.
And that's why we fell in love with this property and why it's going to be so good for the YouTube channel. We went all the way back to the creek the other day, and it is gorgeous, and we're going to do some timber footage back there, and it's going to be awesome.
So if people haven't seen before, the creek is all the way.
This is not the creek. This
not
is
this
just a
little,
drainage ditch,
yep.
which is awesome. That's where I showed you guys the waterfall the other day. And then over there, it mates up with this other drainage ditch, and then they go together, and then they go back to a named creek, which shall remain unnamed.
Which is clear back here in the far set of trees.
Yep.
Beyond that is another creek.
That's right. So
super cool.
It's beautiful, and you guys are going to love it, and we're going to get some awesome footage. So just going around the house, this is some extra excitement here.
Yay.
So end of the building, this is the ugly side is what I call it, because there's nothing really magical about this. We didn't do board and batten up there because it just looked really nice to have them both side by side like that. And we worked with our contractor on this. If you ever add a board and batten, sometimes they'll charge extra labor for the verticals because there's a lot of labor and measurements and cuts. And the only thing that we ended up paying a little extra for was the trim piece to separate the two styles of siding. I think we ended up giving $100 or something like that for that, and they split it with us because they offered to do it, and then they were like, oh yeah, the trim's going to cost us like $400. So,
it's a crazy expensive piece.
So we ended up, instead of going with like a 12-inch piece, we went with a, I think it was a
8.
5 or is it an 8-inch?
I think it's an 8. Yeah.
Yeah, it's No, I think that's a regular siding. It's 5 3/4 or 5 1/2.
Could be.
But either way, it looks really nice, and we're happy.
Yep.
So we're gonna walk around to the front. I would feel bad taking you in my back door. both of us. So the front from the other side. Careful of the stuff here, huh?
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta.
So 3-car garage. This one's gonna be 24 feet deep, and then 26 foot deep, and then the bump out for the pantry makes this right stall in the main 2-car garage. Not quite 24 feet deep. It's 26 foot deep for about half, and then 24 foot deep for the other half. So come on in. This is a garage. You guys have been in here before. This is obviously going to be brick, and when I say brick, I have bricklayers in the family. This is not going to be real brick. It's going to be fake brick. So, but it's going to be beautiful still. Let's show them the front before we even go in.
Okay.
Can't go in through the front door because we don't have the handle yet, and we won't have the handle. When you buy a tall door from Pella, they have a 3 latch system that holds the door so that it doesn't like let wind come through. And I believe you may actually be able to get them without that. But basically the guy selling it said, if you get it and it leaks, I'm going to say too bad. So we were like, okay, well I guess we're going to get it. So this is the cap, or the stoop if you will. This is about 9 1/4 inches thick on the front. It's 14 inches thick in the back. So, I mean, probably a little due diligence on the measurements would have saved them about 4 or 5 yards of concrete. But it's gonna drain for sure. That's one problem we have in our current house. And then this here is needs to get poured, which is no big deal. That's gonna support the decorative columns.
From up here.
This is more supportive structurally than this, as you can probably imagine. But they technically both are supportive. And then there's going to be lights. And they did the same effect they did in the back. They did this, but they got these centered the first time. And it just looks really nice. They did a really nice job on this stuff. So we really like it. And just those details like that really show the quality of workmanship. Which is frustrating as you can be building a house. At the end of the day, these guys did a really nice job. And there's been a couple of things that didn't go perfect the first time. Mostly because of communication between the builder and the contractor. And it's just... Our general has been really good, but sometimes things just don't happen in time. So we're going to go inside next.
Yep.
Okay, so forgot to mention earlier, insulation is in, which looks really nice. Giant snake attack. Wait, that's an exhaust vent.
Yep.
We have a scuttle for the attic here, and then we're going to have attic accesses on both sides because our active dormer and vaulted ceiling in the main living space unfortunately essentially split the house in half, which... It was a design flaw, if you want to call it, by us. So, too bad us. I guess we got 2 attic accesses. And so as you can see, once you come in here, and we'll show them from the other direction, it gets really, the echoing just stops.
It's crazy.
So cool.
Yeah.
And that window got broke. I don't know if it was, this one's actually getting ready to install to replace the broken one. There was a crack in the top of the frame.
Yep.
And so they hung it just to, keep the draft out. Since, there's not other drafts here. But these doors for the garage are taller, and there'll be some windows. Windows in a garage door, really cheap at additional value you can add. This is just a temporary construction door that they're going to throw in there. We at our lumber yard actually was able to get fire-rated exterior gray doors to match our interior panels, which is cool because we're doing 3 panel doors and white.
Like
and then
Craftsman style.
Yeah, Craftsman style.
Yep.
So it's going to look really cool, but as you can see, soffit vents and stuff all the way along. We've got these little vents here. The cardboard directs the air from the soffit up into the top of the attic, and that keeps the roof, so it's I believe it just keeps it about the same temperature as the exterior. So ice doesn't build up, cause damage. This stairway just gets better every day.
My favorite part.
Yep. It's weirdly quiet in here.
It is.
So this is going to be our half bath. That's where the broken window is going to go. And when I say broken, I mean this one's broken and that one's going to replace it. Nothing magical here. You've kind of seen a lot of this, so we're just going to go quick. This is a mud room. It's not huge. We're hoping we don't kick ourselves on that. This stuff
we already
sometimes feels a little bit small when you have a family of 6. Okay, then you walk into the kitchen. The kitchen's going to lay out like this. Some
and then
cabinets
continue
here,
around here.
and then there'll be a banquette over here. For those of you who don't know what a banquette is, it's where you sit down, and you have a table, something like that. We'll have lights hanging down all over the place. Obviously bad insulation up here. The only thing I was hoping to see that I didn't get to see is up there beyond that insulation, because it was not very deep. So I'm not sure whether to be worried about that or not. We're gonna have a range hood, so we got a hood vent up there, and so the exhaust is gonna pick up and go out the back of the house.
Yep.
The island's gonna go here. Our builder built this wall. Like I don't know if you realize how many people are gonna see it, but it's like, looks like crap. But this is gonna go between cabinets.
The sink and the dishwasher will be in the island.
Will be here, sink and dishwasher. And
yep.
If you look out, what's really cool about this, when you stand at the sink, we planned this out perfectly to block our ugly pole. We lined that up.
You can't block it
that
all
was
the way.
Totally pure luck.
Yeah.
But we'll take credit for it.
Pantry behind you.
Pantry's going to be here.
My favorite part.
A second fridge, because currently we have a fridge in the basement. You get a family of 4 kids, and you go through a lot of drinks. And then this is the office preview. It's going to look nice. Glass door here, glass transoms. So we will be able to be editing video and sitting here, just take care of YouTube stuff. And then we'll be able to look out and see the children, but not necessarily hear the children, which is going to be very nice.
Good luck.
And yeah, exactly. Transom here, transom there, and then there'll be transom downstairs, and then a transom in the stairway, which I'll show you as we go. Slider, so the deck is partially finished. Just a quick view of that. It's going to extend out, like we said, 6 feet beyond. And really, we're excited about the view. It's cloudy today, so it's good for exposure on cameras. But it's not going to necessarily showcase the southern exposure that we're getting right now from the sun.
Yep.
And the southern exposure is part of the reason why we kicked the house. We would have been north-south, lined up, and we kicked it 30 degrees so we could compromise between catching the most pretty part of the house against the road and catching a little bit more southern exposure. I wanted to go a little more like 45 degrees, and Megan was threatening to murder me, so we didn't do that. Okay, so this is where the living room is.
Blame it on me.
There's
an
the
orange line.
Represents where the carpet is going to be, and then this will be hardwood floors, and that'll be hardwood floors too.
Yeah, in the office.
Over there and there, and then we'll have tile in the entryway, and then tile in the bathroom.
No, hardwood floor in the entryway, but then tile in the mudroom and in the bathrooms.
Okay, and we'll go back downstairs here in a minute. This is the hallway to the kids. We got AV closet here for the stereo and stuff. For now, it's probably going to sit like it is in our house, but this will be here for us when we're ready if we do a flat panel TV or whatever. Coat closet, and then kids bedroom number 1 for half of the batch, and then this is the laundry, and just some of the mechanicals. They did just a really nice job, guys. Look at this. I'm probably bragging about it, and somebody's gonna be like, "Man, it looks like crap." We're really happy with the way this stuff looks. I mean, some of it looks great, and some of it looks great because maybe we wanted it done a certain way, and others, they just did a really nice job on it. So the electrician did a really good job, notably. And that was where I was the most concerned, because I know how to do that stuff. So anyway, they did a nice job. We're really happy with it. This is the other half of the kids' rooms. And the kids are all excited because you can see the other kids from this room. You can see the window. The window. So they're all excited about that, being able to communicate by sign language or whatever it is. So down the hallway, got the kids' bathroom, double sink, long vanity as long as we can fit, neat code, towel shower going in there. Master bedroom. Oh man, that looks really good.
That's so cool.
Awesome. This is the first time we're seeing out it, guys.
In the daylight, yep.
This window is 72 by 72, and it costs about as much as one of these in a bathroom with grills. So if you're buying these windows, keep in mind, usually people do this when they're in town. We're in the country, but we still wanted some level of privacy in the master. So we'll put the bed here, plus furniture arrangement. And this is going to be the view of the creek, and then these casement windows open like this, so we can block the sound of the road if there would be noise from the road at some point. And then we can open and hear the kids play, and you can look down and see the kids playing while you are taking care of feeding kids or whatever it is you do. So it's going to be beautiful, and you can see our little waterfall. We don't have the cranks on the windows, so we can't open them right now to verify that theory. But this one here you can open, and you can hear that waterfall that I showed you guys in the other video. So we're super excited about that. Master bathroom. Obviously, these windows, you've seen them a time or two. There'll be a tall, what are we going to call this?
Like a linen cabinet.
Linen cabinet.
Yep.
And then we'll have 2 cabinets with sinks for his and her sinks.
Yep.
And then the shower. This wall is actually coming out. This is just kind of a goof up or whatever. And we had some changes to plans. So there'll be like a knee wall, and then there'll be a half wall. It's going to come out a little bit further. And there'll be glass and glass. And then this will be a shower. We got 2 shower heads that are mounted up high, because I hate when shower heads are short, even though my wife wanted them shorter, so don't hate me.
Because maybe she's shorter than you. Shorter.
But there's a step for you. So,
yeah, right.
This is the toilet.
Water closet.
Water closet. And then in here is a master closet.
Actual closet.
And we'll have an attic access, so we're going to have a little
up here.
A little wall here to prevent the humidity that doesn't get out through the exhaust from getting in here and condensing on that, what will end up being a cooler point. So we are going to pause it and walk back out to the stairway. Okay. Okay, so one of the things that you'll learn is, like up there, you guys see that light? There's a can light.
From here, hold on.
There's a can light right there.
That one.
Okay, so that can light is the rear perimeter of the living room. And this is one of these things that we hope it wasn't just a huge waste of time, but my dad and I, they mounted it in this cavity and close. There's 24-inch on center trusses. And it would have cast a shadow right on the floor here. And so these are the types of ridiculous little details that just drive you crazy when you're building a house. So we had the electricians move it. They moved it all the way over, and it just wasn't quite enough. And so we're like, well, you got to move to the next bay over, and then all the way over. So they moved it to the next bay, and then it was all the way over. And I don't know if it's just miscommunication or something, but just little details like that. But now the shadow that may be cast, if it's cast, which I doubt it will because it'll be so far out, it's going to be way down here in the hallway. So just little stupid details like that. You don't think about it until you're building your own house, and you're like, I don't want to see a shadow in my living room.
And you don't think about it until you can see it in person.
And when you have something, you know, like this active dormer has been a really technical challenge. I didn't think it was going to be such a big challenge. But it's awesome.
But it's so cool.
When it's drywall. This is a huge space. And it's going to be a bit of an echo chamber before this carpet goes in.
Yeah.
So, and another thing, if you're building a house, switched outlets and unswitched outlets.
And the floor.
At each station. Same thing up here, because that's going to be hard to get to, guys. Look at this. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm not short. I'm not tall. But here we go. How are you going to get up there? You can't put a ladder here. There's a table here. You can't put a ladder there because there's a countertop there. And they're going to terminate upon each other. So you have to walk up a ladder, then you got to jump over. So we got to figure out a way to do that. Maybe some scaffold. If you guys got good ideas, leave it in the comments below. And I'm going quick because there's a lot to see here, guys. Okay, downstairs we go. So this is going to remain open, obviously. There'll be a stairwell railing. And these windows were one of the biggest challenges in the house in terms of getting the framing crew to execute my vision for the way these windows were to line up. Our drawings were a little bit, they weren't super vague, but we had a hard time getting all this to line up properly according to the drawings and according to what we wanted. Ultimately, I gave up on it because this gap was a little bit more than I had hoped for, but we wanted them to be even. And the reason I gave up on it is because where the railing is going to hit, it's going to obstruct your view the railing would have anyway, in that point. So we paid a lot of money for the view, and so we wanted to try to preserve as much of it as possible. And those nitpicky details will just, I mean, if you're like me, I mean, you see me work on the airplanes. It's the same thing with a house, except it matters on a house. On an airplane, you know, you'll fly it, you'll love it, it's going to look sweet, and you're going to crash it someday. This thing hopefully won't crash. You might crash into it. So
don't do that.
Let's not do that.
No.
Okay, coming on down. So downstairs, they're putting some lights in our stairway, and then this is going to be a window. They got a line here.
Yes, in the stairway.
In the stairway.
Everyone's going, why, Brian? Why is there a window?
Because we like windows. And then this will be the downstairs, unfinished. So we regrettably are going to end up with a bulkhead down here. We were torn between doing a wall or whatever. So this is where that window is going to go. And so the reason for the window is because then we end up with 3 points of light coming in here. And we had toyed with the idea of possibly cheating in a window on this little wall, and it just, we didn't have enough wall space. We didn't want to cut the concrete, obviously. If they would have laid out the concrete a little bit different, we could have done it, but even still, that's where we want to expand the house if we're going to expand it. So we want to keep that open. And the basements may not even connect. You may walk in from the upstairs, and it may just be an upstairs. We don't know. We're just leaving that open for future use. This is one of these things that, regrettably, in a big, long house like this, you're ultimately going to run into something like this. It's either that or move your wall out here, so you have enough room for all your ductwork, and then your footing can support the wall. The footings are here. You can't just knock over here, you know, and put a structural load-bearing wall, because your span on your Louisiana Pacific makes these, and what are they? I don't know. It's a continuous span here, so whatever it is, we're right on the edge, okay? We're within like 6 inches of the maximum. And then these, you'll notice they're closer. That's because this is not a continuous span. So when you continuously span, you bear some of the load on the opposite side of the wall, whereas this, it's just here. That's it. That's why they're closer. It wasn't a mistake. It looked like it was a mistake when we first started looking. Windows look really nice. They did a good job with those. Silcock. We have to figure out where to put this. You notice how long it is. This wall is going to be finished at some point, okay? So you got to figure out where you're going to put these things. You can get short silcocks, but who wants a short silcock?
Nobody.
Exactly, because they freeze. No other reason. So we're thinking about putting it up here maybe, and you're like, wait, I thought you were expanding the house there. Well, someday we might. But the thing is, we can put it up here, and the plumber's going to love us. They'll probably have to move stuff around to get it in. But then this will be a bulkhead here, right? So we can put a vent in, a fake vent, and that'll let warm air from the conditioned environment get into that spot. So then you don't have frozen pipes. Plus, I believe the way these silcocks work is you basically have this expansion area. So like if you have a little bit of water that gets left in here after you shut this off, then the water can expand in this expansion chamber. Well, if your silcock is short, then it's just going to expand and blow up. So nobody wants that either.
Nope.
Especially not in a finished wall. That would suck.
That would.
So anyway, a couple of thoughts to remember. When you build a custom house, things are a little bit more complicated because you haven't had another house to screw up to figure out the solution. So we're trying desperately to avoid screw-ups. We will make screw-ups. I guarantee you there'll be mistakes on our part. Not on necessarily the builder's part, but things we didn't think about. Over here, storage. This is more storage slash shop. Shop runs along here, and then I'll have you walk in here. Furnace room is going to be over here. I don't know if this will be like shop extension or what, but it's nothing much to see. There will be some lights in here. It's going to be really nice. Come on down. And got the groundings, got to get situated still. This looks kind of crappy, but no big deal. It's just temporary for the moment. And then the water heater, ironically enough, has not been installed yet. So when the water heater does get installed, then they have to do one more vent. And that makes me a little bit nervous because vents can be ugly. And as you can see, we got the electrical reasonably clean work here. One small plank of wood. I don't know why. I tried to talk the builder into putting a wall right here. For whatever reason, they made it sound like it was going to be $1 billion. And I was like, really? A 6-foot wall is going to cost anything? Like, just put it together with the garbage. I would have done it myself if I would have done it while they weren't looking. But anyway, this is not the end of the world. The electrician made it sound like he really preferred this method over being in a wall cavity. I don't know why. So, but one way or another, got that. This is radon mitigation. I don't know if you guys have radon in your area. We have a lot of limestone in Iowa. And the radon gas just comes up. So you pretty much have some level of radon gas everywhere in Iowa. But radon gas is supposedly like a cancer-causing agent or whatever. I don't know if I buy all that. But one way or another, you want to mitigate that gas if it is dangerous, if you buy into that. I don't know that I do. But one way or another, that will come in here, and it's a convection process where it just basically transfers the air to the attic, and then it's displaced. So it'll keep, you know, your kids safe and all that from the things that probably aren't even dangerous in the first place, but somebody had some stock in a company that sold that stuff. So anyway, this will be a bathroom at some point. This will be a toilet. Looks like somebody's already used it. This will be for the shower. Of course, this will be for drain vent. I'm assuming at some point you're going to have a sink somewhere, and then it'll drain around here. Of course, it's a main stack for the main. And look how nice this all looks. Guys, all the extra water lines are not terminated because we don't have a water heater yet. And secondly, they're not terminated also because we paid a little extra for hot water recirculation. So basically they run 2 lines out. They come together and then continue on to the faucet. And then the cold water line is not necessary for the return. Like in our current house, we have a little check valve that transmits the hot water into the cold water to return back to the water heater. And so what happens is you have a pump that runs all the time, and you can set it to run on and off. We just have like a tungsten rated, it's an appliance timer is what it's called. Mm-hmm. And it's super cheap. You set a digital time. It's got a backup battery, and then it just turns it on and off based on the times that you want it to run. It does have a timer on its face. It's just one of those chintzy mechanical ones that loses time really bad. So we set the digital one, never have to mess with it when the power goes out. And what that'll do is it'll run, and then you get up in the morning, you turn the hot water on, and it's hot right away. So that was a function of our house because it was a spec house that was built, and the water heater was here, and everything was over here. So it was on the opposite side of the house. In this house, it's going to be a lot more centrally located. We may not have that issue. But if we do, we didn't want to find out later because it's much harder to add that stuff later. And for a few $100 on a house of this magnitude is not a big deal, so we did it. So that is the house. We hope that you enjoy this process. Building house is very stressful.
Very.
It is expensive.
Very.
It is
Hold on, you're in the...
both extremely fun and extremely daunting at all times. It seems like you get a little bit of both. Generally, this would have probably been twice as hard, if not 3 times as hard, because we would have had to talk all these people into coming back when we had problems. So, but the only thing about it is if you general it, you communicate directly to the people. And we've been able to do that on a couple of these guys have been just direct to, they talk to me, and it's worked really nice. So it's avoided a lot of conflict. But even then, there's still things that get screwed up. But the guys are doing their best. They're doing really nice work. And this house is going to be great when it's done. So looking out, let's get one more shot of the rocky moon surface over here. We hope to keep you entertained with our lifestyle of many, many, many children. And this house is going to help to facilitate that as we grow our family, and we hope to keep you in it. So thanks for watching, guys. Check the description below. This YouTube thing, you know, you make a few bucks on it. It's nice. It does help with habits like RC, you know, batteries and glue and crap like that, and occasionally buying a model. Sometimes once in a while somebody sends me something to review, which is cool, but let's just be honest, we're not making our money for this stuff on YouTube. And we really just wanted to share this experience with you. And this has come from a lot of hard work from my wife and from me and for a long time. And we're going to be paying for it for years to come. But we hope that you enjoyed watching it, and there's more to come. So thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate you. You're a great audience.